Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Friday, the 2nd of October, 2020. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. Today I've got Andy Hall. I got Andy Hall with me, joining me so far. We may have other people popping in, not sure exactly. John Funk from Atheist Incorporated may join us. Daniel Fisk Bennett may join. I don't know. Some people may join us, but we're going to talk about the cooties and the president and lies and truth and the Great River right after this. Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirowin. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin. All right, so thank you, Andy. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Was it Christmas when you woke up? I mean, you don't want to say that. Do you want to say that? Well, you said it. You said it in a post. I woke up to your Christmas post. Go ahead.
It's it's a good morning for me, and I think for millions of Americans, and maybe the free world too.
Yes, and we can be crass about this and not so crass. It's a complicated thing. It's not necessarily all about wishing somebody bad. And and at this point in the situation, we actually kind of have to stop and go, is it real? What's the purpose of things? But you know what? I will get back to that. Let me, there's no way I'm forgetting about it. I don't even have to write that one down. Let me say hello to everybody in the chat and do my thing at the place with the people for the thing. And then we'll come back to this for the stuff. Good morning, everybody in the Daily Atheist Morning Show chat, the damn nation. Hello, Derek Cruz, Paul Camish. Good morning, Paul. Hey, P. P is here. Iron Charioteer. Brother, we don't see you nearly enough. Urbanch, nice to have you. Brian the Brain Bug. Of all the bug people that I know, I think Brian is my favorite. He really is. He's got to be. He's right. I mean, right. Just an awesome guy. Yeah. Good morning, Brian. The Blazing Wizard Pope. Good morning, Christian. Thank you for joining us. Yo, Natural Atheist. All you wonderful people over there. Thank you for joining us. And then, of course, the people who watch on Facebook. Good morning, everybody on Facebook. I hope you have had a good week. I hope you're having a good morning. And also to the people on the Daily Atheist Morning Show podcast live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Okay, Andy. Guess what?
Tell me what.
You're not going to believe this.
I want to hear a story this morning.
I know. I was alone and scared. I woke up. I toddled in. I went tinkle. I turned on the coffee. I came in. I turned on my computer, and something happened when I turned on my computer. It's not necessarily about being joyous at but whenever you've got somebody it's like that guy who goes around with, sometimes you'll see them, these conservative politicians are like, gays are bad, gay people are bad. And then you find them tapping under their foot under airport stalls and they get arrested for doing gay things. And you can't not point that out. This is one of those cases. And I'm throwing the word around if here a lot. If El Patron Pappy, the great one, if he, I don't know where my brain was going. If they have the virus, after all this downplaying it, hell yeah. After all this, we don't need masks. It ain't real.
So what time did you go to bed last night, Chris?
It was a little late. I kind of stayed up watching Nokasuchi's debate a little bit, and then, stuff like that.
Did you hear about Hope Hicks?
I did. I heard about her yesterday.
Okay, so I went to bed last night with the news of Hope Hicks, a close confidant of President Trump, having COVID-19. And I went to bed saying a prayer to Richard Dawkins, saying, "Oh, atheist God, thou art so great. How great thou art. If you are going to give anything to us poor plebs, please, the coronavirus. onto the whole clan, onto the whole Trump clan, except for Barron.
Except for Barron.
Except for Barron. I woke up this morning, happy. It doesn't happen that often, Chris, to this poor 52-year-old curmudgeon.
I know, bro.
I woke up happy.
Yeah. Well, I hate to be that way. Don't you hate? Does anybody? I don't really like wishing ill on other folk. I really don't.
I'll tell you a story. You want to hear a story? So a buddy of mine was married to the worst person in the world. She was a religious nut, and he had deconverted. She was cheating on him with someone in their church.
Okay.
She had no positive personality characteristic whatsoever. Okay. She wasn't polite. She was rude.
Charmer.
She wasn't smart. She was dumb. Nothing really positive about her. And she squeezed my buddy, who wasn't making a lot of money, for every last cent in the divorce settlement.
Really?
I was in New Hampshire when I was married on vacation, and he called me with the news saying that she had died. And I said, my friend, I'm not going to give his name, but I said, I know that you're too good a person to feel good about her death. Allow me to feel the pleasure for both of us. So, friends in the chat, who is watching and listening to this, if you don't feel comfortable feeling joy with the president and the first lady coming down with COVID-19, rest assured that I will feel the joy for all of us. That is my burden. That is my role.
You bear it well too. I mean, it's noble of you to even offer.
Yep. Well, that's just the kind of guy I am.
We need statues to Andy. So yeah, I like that. That's good. So let me just check real quick. Where do you go from there? Well, I do appreciate your eagerness though to just throw yourself down like that. But all kidding aside, I've been trying to think. It's been kind of a bit of a whirlwind this morning since I got up, and for those of you who don't know, I experienced a technical difficulty yesterday. I thought I lost a monitor, but I lost a video card, and I haven't replaced it yet. And my world is discombobulated, and things just aren't the way they're supposed. So, I'm just kind of a little discombobulated, but I haven't really had time to apply myself mentally to the scope of what necessarily is going on. I have been on Facebook, talking with people and going around, dude, if you downplay it like that and you put so many people at risk and you finally get it, I should be within my literal legal rights to go, ha ha. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. I don't feel like I'm wrong there. Now, to the extent to which he gets it and how bad it hurts them and all that stuff, it's just a matter of character. The kind of character that I have. Let me pause for a moment. I'm going to pause for a moment and think about it, and let me weigh in my character. Do I wish deathly harm on a man who has had knowledge and information that this virus was deadly and would not only destroy people financially, but it would kill them and their family and all this, and he downplayed it, even to the point of recently, I think he may have stopped doing indoor rallies, but he did at least within the last month hold one indoor rally and telling people not to wear their mask, blah, 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 blah. Should I feel bad that this man, after over 200,000, should I wish him death? Am I bad? Is it bad in my character to wish this person death? Allow me to pause.
I am not going to cast any stones at you, Chris, especially after the last debate where Trump is telling Joe Biden, have you ever seen this guy? He loves masks. He can't get away from masks. He'd marry a mask if he wants to marry a mask.
That's perfect. He did say that.
So do I feel guilty
good day.
as Herman Cain's ghost is marching on that Donald J. Trump and that woman, that woman who was complicit in his crimes, and who had the jacket that said that had written on it, "I don't care. I don't really care. Do you?" It's like, yes, I care. I care a lot, just not in a very positive way, not in a hopes and prayers kind of way that you get any better.
Blazing Wizard Pope says it puts the mask on its face or else it gets the Trump again. It's kind of,
indeed.
But you know, this, you gotta be, I mean, without just being ugly about it, my buttons have all, everything's moved. Without just being ugly about things, it's one of those deals where if what's going on with the virus is true, and I believe it is, it was bound to happen. How could it not happen? I mean, he's been hosting all these rallies. They're talking. You saw the presidential debate. None of his family member or anybody wore masks, if I remember correctly. You know, and they brag about this stuff and they do these things. Well, if it weren't true, and it weren't really a virus, then I guess they wouldn't have gotten it.
You know, I just want to go back on what Christopher Hitchens said about Jerry Falwell. I think it was after Jerry Falwell died. Quote from the Hitch: "If you gave Falwell an enema, he could be buried in a matchbox."
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like that's something similar. What we have going on here with
applies
Mr.
here.
Trump.
Yeah. You think you'd need a matchbox, a whole matchbox, or
he may not be able to fill up there's so much poo in that guy.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know. There's a
you know, and the thing is,
what happened to our country that we would do that? You know, I never wished stuff like this on George Bush. I thought George Bush was a war criminal. You know, I always thought of Bush as someone who is a war criminal, but I didn't think he was malicious. So there's a question of intent, which we've talked about before on this channel. There's a question of intent. You know, Bush the Younger's brain was addled by being years of substance abuse and finding Jesus, and he just wasn't capable of making. Clearly, he was just not capable of making good decisions. However, Donald J. Trump is different. He is a man who, obviously, from Bob Woodward's book, does understand the weight of his decisions, does understand he is lying when he is lying. So they're in two different categories, Bush the Younger and Donald J. Trump. Absolutely. You know, absolutely. And, you know, with Donald Trump, I mean, with Bush the Younger, either one of them really, whether they're the harm they inflicted directly, I'm talking about malicious physical harm, such as violence with our military, all that, almost all of it, I would suspect, was on foreign entities. But Trump is turning his forces upon American people. His lies and the things he's doing are hurting Americans directly. You know, some of us got a tax break. Some of us got this. Yeah. Some of us have actually gained wealth during his presidency. So that doesn't mean any. Look at the big picture. We need to be big picture kind of people here.
This is the problem with the American education system. Someone gives you $5, but rips you off for 10, but you don't realize it because it isn't so obvious. And that's what the Republicans do overall to the American people. It's like, we'll give you tax cuts, but, oh, by the way, we're going to take $10 worth, and we're going to double the amount in terms of services that you're going to get from the government.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like the government hands you a $10 bill and asks for change. And then you're like, what do you want? 10 ones or 2 5s? And they're like, you know what? I want 2 5s and 5 1s. And we're like, well, all right.
10
because we're stupid. Like the education, you know,
So as I understand it from what I've been reading this morning, if Trump is feeling really, really bad, they can, the 25th Amendment would be activated, and Pence would be in charge, and so
sympathy
that
for Trump
may or may not be any comfort to anyone that instead of Donald J. Trump, who is a narcissistic oligarch holding the reins of power, we would have a theocrat, a would-be theocrat running the show.
Yeah. I used to have this notion that if it weren't for Trump, if Trump were to die somehow or be removed from office, Pence wouldn't be as dangerous because Pence doesn't have the cult of personality that Trump does. But I've since learned that that's not good thinking. Trump isn't really, he's just a puppet. He says stupid things. He does stupid things. Pence would be equally a puppet. There would still be an overall agenda that would be driving our nation towards fascism.
Yeah.
Either way, it's Trump. Trump is just he's just a cog in a big machine. He's a nasty, stinky, ugly cog, and apparently now he's got the COVID-19. He got the cooties. But other than that, he's just a cog. He's not, now I believe that. Before I thought without Trump, they wouldn't be getting so far. Now I don't believe that anymore. It don't matter who they have. There's a bigger picture going on here. And it's just a matter of can we stop it or not.
You know what I find interesting about this, because I've had conversations. We chatted about this before the show started. I talked with my girlfriend, and I saw a couple of comments on some of the posts I've made about Trump getting coronavirus. And there seems to be a sizable amount of people who think that this is just a trick being done by the Trump administration, and that Trump actually doesn't have COVID.
Okay, if you don't mind, thank you for bringing that up. I'm gonna pop up a I'm gonna read that post I sent you because I lost a video card yesterday and I don't have as many screens. I can't put this on the screen, so I'm just gonna read this thing if I can find it. Again, I'm limited on the screen, so let me see if I can find my thing here. Open it in another window without screwing up stuff. And it's a dual post. I don't think I can share this, people. If I want to share it. What does that give you? That gives us that. All right. Hold on. Be patient with me. This is worth it almost. Shared screen. Properties. It's going to be that one. Okay. All right. So it says, damn thing. Now where to go? Shared screen.
I'm going to say hello to Neil. What's up, Neil? 604.
Hey, say hi to Neil.
Hanging out in the chat.
Neil's
I'm going to be social and say hello to people. Always good to see Brainbug, of course.
Thank you. Okay, I've got this up there on the screen. Let me. Boom. Okay. So now it says the top part says it's by a person named Don Winslow. Don Winslow, if you're watching, thank you for this. It says the timing of Trump's positive test is very interesting and solves a number of immediate problems for Trump. Okay. And then underneath that, it says Trump's October surprise. And this is a post allegedly posted by John Camo. John, if you're watching. And it was allegedly posted on 9/18 of 2020. And it says, Trump's October surprise will be the announcement of his infection. Fake, but quite dramatic. This twist will blow Biden off the screens. The Trump COVID watch dominating every minute of every day. Then 14 days later, Trump will emerge 100% cured by hydroxychloroquine. I would not be surprised. Anybody watching, would you be surprised? I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, though. I think it's an unlikely scenario that he's faking having the virus. I think it goes against his need to be out there and pressing the flesh with people.
Well, if I can say, and maybe we'll see. Again, you and I discussed this before the show, but there are a couple things that are very kind of anti-Trump administration that have happened here. One is that Hope Hicks got the virus. And we all knew immediately. There was no waiting. There was no obfuscation. They didn't hide it. They didn't apparently try to hide it, as far as I can tell. And then when Trump and them get the virus, Trump allegedly got the virus, and I woke up on my news this morning and it was like, Trump has the virus, and Trump has already posted something. I've had the virus. Me and the family will work together. We will get through this together. That's not Trump style, people. That is not Trump. Trump is lies and obfuscation. Hey, don't look at this hand. Look at this hand. Don't look at this hand. That's all Trump does. Why they come out with it so quickly, so easily, so readily? Again, we've all agreed. Why didn't they get it sooner? I really think, considering the hazards that they take upon themselves. But still, good morning, God, the good one, for joining. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Hello, all. So, the thing is too about Trump is that not only does he like pressing the flesh, the thing is, and I've heard this by many other smarter people than little Andy over here,
Uh-huh.
that Trump loses ground in polls and in public opinion when the news cycle focuses on COVID. So I
Mm.
find it difficult to wrap my head around the fact that Trump would be. See, the more I'm saying it, Chris, the more I think it makes sense. Damn it.
I know, right?
I find it difficult that Trump would somehow double down, thinking if he goes straight through COVID, saying he had it, and then suddenly that he thinks that that's going to be a positive. No, that's no matter what kind of dark non-logic
No,
that is.
if he
Yeah,
gets through it, if he doesn't have it, and 2 weeks later, and he goes, "Oh, I'm all better." What if he does have it? That's what I'm afraid of. He does have it, but it's one of those weak strains that just makes you lose your sense of taste and your sense of smell. This is, you and I were talking about this before the show. What if that's what he's got? And, he might have a little fever for a day and he's got the thing, but he doesn't get the really harsh version. So whenever they do come out, he really does believe. They all believe he really did have it and it wasn't that bad. That's one of the things. That's one of my fears right now. That's kind of how it'll play out.
If he really wanted to quote those evangelicals, he would just say he would just have his people say he was in a coma for 3 days and then rise afterwards.
Yep. Dandy. Good morning, Flow State. Thank you for joining us. He says the tests suck. They could have had it and gotten false negatives, or this could be false positives. This is also true. I've seen articles where it's
riddle me this, Batman.
A testing facility has a problem.
I just want to let you know this, right? So let's unpack this a little bit.
Okay, unpacking.
So if you're president of the United States, arguably the most important person, in the country, holder of the nuclear codes, or the football, not holder, but at least, able to get access to these things. Right. You have your own private militia, basically.
The chief Wiggum of the United States.
Understood. Yeah, right. If you got tested once and you knew that the test may not be that accurate, wouldn't you get tested again?
Yes, absolutely.
Or maybe even a third time. Because, and I'm not a statistician, if someone smarter than me would be able to figure out the odds of what's the chance of getting the same bad result three different times on a rapid response test, I think it would be pretty small.
Yeah.
So to think that he only got tested once is naive.
Of course. Well, that's what I was saying, actually, was that there have been reports, and I've read articles of where the facility which runs the tests and or like the rapid ones creates the test has a flaw, so a bunch of tests will automatically accidentally render positive. Therefore, you would have something like this. That's what I was referring to. So if he did 2 or 3 of the same brand from the same lot, he might have another. But I'm with you. No, I'm not trying to argue against you.
People who are smart in the White House who know that and just have, we're going to have like Johnson & Johnson brand, and then we're going to have like the CVS brand, or the McDonald's brand. If McDonald's had a brand, I mean, you'd love it because it'd be like a quarter pounder smell to it as if they stick it up his nose.
Okay, perfect. That's a great example. Thank you for bringing us to that. So that was part A, was about the fact that they have claimed about lots and the facilities and stuff like that. Part B of my notion is that, to continue on about Flow State's mentioning, is that this tests suck. Well, I believe, and of course, obviously, I don't have sources. Go look it up for yourself, people. You got Google.
I don't even know why. I mean,
I just want to.
You're a good guy, Chris, but I would not be talking to Flow State because he's just his brain is just a bag of angry squirrels, and he just says these things that are like debunked within 2 sentences.
But they have new tests.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be quiet now.
No, I understand. Well, sometimes I mean, but they do have new tests. Whenever I quote Flow State, he's usually bringing up, he or she, I'm sorry, I don't know. They are usually bringing up something that, out of the noise and what's going on in the chat and what I see, that's a legitimate, or not a legitimate, but it's a usual right-wing talking point worth kind of. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I recently saw that there is a new, less painful, quicker test that they can have now. If I saw it last week, they've already got it. So, like you were saying, surely they're not using the crappy, hardest, the old Bear Johnson and Johnson. They've got the newest, latest tech, and they are sure if it's real. Now, somebody on one of my Facebook posts, whenever I posted my nut baggery about it may not be real, somebody was like, "Well, this story was certified by the president's doctor, the White House doctor." And I was like, "Let's look this guy up." So I went and looked the guy up, and this is the same guy who was backing hydrochloroquine for the president. He's just a lapdog puppet for the president. I don't believe anything this guy says. I just don't.
Yeah, like I said, there is enough there's, like I said, my earlier points about COVID being in the news cycle and Trump's support going down dramatically points to the fact that this is probably a real story. The fact that Trump hates the idea of appearing weak seems to go against this narcissistic personality disorder that he has and that he's had for decades at this point. So that's at least some supporting evidence that this is actually a real story.
I voted both. I voted that it is real. I could believe, again, going back to the fact that they have been so cavalier, if you will, about their approach to it in their own circles, at least when they're on television. When they're on television, they're at a debate, the family's out there, I'm sure they're that way. So they've been so cavalier about it, it was bound to happen. Point A, let's go. All right, so I believe it's probably, I'm praying to your fictitious God that it's real. It's probably is real. They probably really did get sick. But I did indeed vote both in the poll because is it real or another lie is the question. And both is because, yes, it could be real and also a distraction. They're going, yep, let's do it. They probably had this plan. What do we do when he gets it? Just like the post said, drive it as much as they can, get as much sympathy. Andy personally pointed out, COVID go up, Donald Trump go down. Yeah. Now they're going like this. They're going up together. When you mentioned COVID and Donald, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
And wait, who's that other guy?
Who's the other guy?
What other guy?
Joe Biden? Are we talking about that guy?
Oh yeah, Joe Biden. Nobody's talking about Joe Biden.
Well, this is the great strategy of Joe Biden and how it wouldn't work. It's the Fabian strategy that the Romans used to get rid of Hannibal from Italy. They're just like, we're just going to hide. We're just going to hide. And he's going to tucker himself out. And we'll do something at some point. But basically, we're just going to hide for a long time.
But they really need to take the Brutus approach to getting rid of Caesar is what they need to do.
It would be nice, but I'm a firm advocate of hiding too. If that's what I'm an advocate, I'm an advocate of what works. That's what I am. And if you can prove to me that something works, then I'm all in favor of that. Just to let everyone know, I'm looking at the 538 site, and Biden has an 80 chance in 100 of winning. Trump has a 19 and 100 chance of winning. And there is a 1% chance that there is no electoral college majority, which means basically Trump wins. Yes. So I thought I would just share that with you because this is just a morning of good news, Chris. This is just a morning of good news.
Well, let's watch that number and see if the Trump COVID adventures over the next couple of weeks mark that number or make that number change. Yeah. Again, of course, if Trump does get sick, what happens if Trump gets sick and becomes too ill to continue his campaign?
Well, this is a good question. I did do some research on this, and from the article that I read, it is not automatic that Pence becomes the candidate. There would have to be a quickie, and emphasis on quickie, discussion amongst the RNC, the Republican National Convention Committee, and maybe a quickie convention like we have never seen before. And they would basically choose a new candidate if Trump suddenly died.
Yeah. Well,
it would probably be Pence, to tell you the truth, since he is the guy that people know. And to tell you the truth, Pence at this point has a better chance of winning than Trump does.
To carry the Trump torch. Trump falls and Pence would nobly reach down, bend down, and lift the Trump flag high in the air and march forward. But there's also the notion that, and I'm just throwing this out there, we've got this somewhat virulent, I hate that word. It's not nearly as fun a word as particle. Anyway, virulent plague ravaging our country, and then these guys kind of get it. Is Pence going to get it too? Would McConnell get it? Is there a way? I mean, did I say that? I didn't mean to phrase it like that.
One thing, I wrote a blog post this morning comparing the ring of stupid that Donald Trump is in comparison to what Winston Churchill talked about, once again, the Nazis in 43, 44, about closing the ring on them. The Nazis in 43, 44 had, hey, John Funk.
Hey guys, how are you?
How's it going? You're good, because I don't want to feel like I'm going to be talking about Nazis, World War II, the Wehrmacht, and the Eastern Front. Because that's where I was going to go into. And, that's always like, oh, Andy's doing this again.
No, dude.
So the thing
I love your Wehrmacht stories.
So Churchill was talking about the closing of the ring on the Nazis. Okay. And the post I wrote about is how Trump has a ring of stupid closing in on him. But the thing is, while the Germans had to fight multiple armies on multiple fronts, Donald J. Trump is just, his worst enemy is Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
And, the reason why he's losing the election is because he bungled COVID-19. The reason why he has COVID-19 is because he bungled it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he is his own worst enemy, and he is America's pretty much worst enemy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Does Trump have COVID now?
He does, dude.
He does.
Oh,
allow me to give you the horrible news.
Andy, filling in, brother.
Positive. Oh wow, you're the first person I got to tell. I feel great.
I know. It's like it's Christmas.
I can go back to bed now.
Your work is done.
My work is done.
My work here is complete.
Yeah,
let me get you guys over here. So John, good morning. Thank you for joining us. It would appear as though, I don't know if you noticed that, did you see the news yesterday whenever, I saw it yesterday, that Hope Hicks had the cooties?
I didn't see that.
Yes. Oh, okay. Man, you must live in a cave somewhere. Anyway, Hope Hicks had the cooties yesterday, and then today it was announced first thing this morning that Trump and Melania both indeed have the cooties. They're even holding out the White House doctor's signature, going, look, we really have it. We really have it. Now, I've been kind of saying that it is a little odd because Trump and them are nothing but lies and obfuscation. Yeah. Lies and obfuscation. And although I do believe, as me and Andy have discussed, that it is very, very likely that he does have it, it just seems, So good morning.
So do you think that maybe he's lying about it then as a political strategy?
I think that's very possible because Donald Trump and them don't tell anything straight. You know, I mean, it's almost always
weird.
Yeah. And when Hope Hicks came out with it, I thought it was odd. I told the wife, I was like, I think it's odd that she had it and they made zero attempt to hide it. This is the Trump administration. You'd think they'd kind of hide it and send her home, sequester her, not tell anybody, keep the secret unless it got out. But they didn't. They didn't seem to do that at all, which is very, very uncharacteristic of Trump. And then people, if you've already seen this part of the show, don't worry. This is for John's entertainment. Then this morning, I get up and there's this news article. Trump and Melania both have the cooties. And I'm like, wow, really? And then I open my Facebook. I'm looking around and I see a Trump tweet. I don't follow him. Somebody else posted it. And he's going, yes, it's been confirmed. We have the cooties and we're going to be brave and work through this together. We are strong. Everything absolutely not Trump. There's nothing about the way they've broke this story that is Trump.
Wow.
This is going to be it's strange, huh?
That does sound weird that he went from being well and fine one day to the next day he's showing paperwork signed by a physician that says that he has the virus. So this will be a very interesting storyline to follow over the next few days.
Oh, definitely. I have a friend of mine who's an atheist just give me the text. She must have just woken up. It's like Donnie and wife tested positive. Maybe there is a God after all.
Well, we've got some other posts here because you know how it is with the news, that how it filters to us. It says, hey, there's AA. Nice to have you, AA. Amy Bastille says they actually didn't tell Hope Hicks it was leaked. That's okay. It was leaked. And then AA says, Our W Zukon says that they did hide it. It was first reported by a news reporter, so it got out of it. Just, I don't know though. It really seems, and not surprised though. Is anybody here surprised that they tried to hide it? If they did indeed try to hide it, so either they tried to hide it, or they're going, "Hey, we have the disease. We have it. We got the cooties. We got the cooties. We got the cooties." Why are they doing that?
You know what's fascinating, and here's another hypothetical situation. Let's say for a moment that they were able to control all the leaks and all the news. They know Donald Trump has COVID-19. They know Melania has COVID-19. Let's say they don't have any symptoms. Would they still go out to these public gatherings, even when they're infectious? What do you guys think?
I'm not sure. Maybe that's the point of the whole thing. I'm not really sure where he could be going with this. I'm trying to think what kind of positive impact could this have for him on the election? And I'm really picking my brain here and I don't get it. So I'm just not sure. But I wouldn't put it past him to do that. I'm wondering if maybe that's the point.
I bet he would go around infecting people if he was positive, didn't have any symptoms, and no one leaked the story. He would go about doing it. And in fact, who knows how many?
Oh, hell yeah, he would.
I have a text from an anonymous source that I trust very much. Now, you guys, we've all been on the news. We know John's had his head in a cave somewhere. He don't know nothing about what's going on. But me and Andy been kind of watching, and I get this text that says, news stations are starting to talk about Trump feeling ill a day or so ago. And, of course, then my very reliable source says, thoughts and prayers, hope you die. I think they're talking to Trump. They could be talking to me. Not really sure. They didn't clarify. Anyway, so if it's true that Trump was feeling bad a couple of days ago, and he really again, I could believe that he has the cooties. My fear would be that he has the cooties that don't really hurt you, because there's a strain or two out there to where there was a joke going around that do you know how to tell? Did you know how that The Rock and his family knew that they had the COVID? Because they couldn't smell what The Rock was cooking. See, because that was the version they had, was that it was the only one that just knocked out your sense of taste and your sense of smell, because that's a thing. I was afraid that was what Trump had. So, yeah. So when did they know about Hope Hicks? That's what I want to know. Did anybody know? Did anybody know before they went to that debate?
Oh, dude, that would be that. If I was Joe Biden right now, I'd be kind of freaking out.
Whoa, my brain just lit up. I had a stroke of genius.
If I was Joe Biden, I'd be kind of, I'd be taking a couple of tests, a couple of tests.
Oh, I worry about him. Absolutely. I worry about him. Definitely, he needs to be taking some tests, on the hour, I think. But it's just here's the deal, though. What happens if Trump and his administration knew they had the cooties, went to the debate, didn't mask up, didn't tell anybody?
Yeah. So Amy says in the chat, we don't know when they knew about Hope. So
that's true. We don't know when they knew, and that's true. When did we find out about Hope? Does anybody know when it was leaked without me having
It was last night is when I first heard about it. I mean, it isn't like I'm glued to CNN all the time. Just
that's true.
So yeah, that's, I don't know, man, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, somewhere in prime time. That's when I first heard about it.
Yeah. So these are the things. Yeah. So that's what we wake up to this morning, John. My worry, again, I worry about our, I like Joe Biden. I didn't like him. I'm a Bernie guy. Everybody knows I'm a Bernie supporter, and that I think Joe Biden is too far right and blah, 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 blah. We've all been there, but I actually like him. Just because of those things doesn't mean I don't like him. And I wouldn't want to see, I don't want this to happen. I don't want him.
I don't want Joe Biden to have COVID-19. No, absolutely. I save that level of malice for people who have truly earned it.
Yes. I would lay that out for people like, Trump. Good morning, Galen Thurber. Nice to have you with us. We got a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's kind of there was an article I posted or I reshared. I think it was either by Forbes. It could have been by NPR. It was one of those kind of outfits. And it was about how Trump is the #1 misinformation.
I saw that too. Well, you know, with such a bully pulpit that the president has, and the way how Trump is able to access Twitter, he is just a vile pollutant. That's what he is. He just like spews that stuff. He's worse than a coal-fired plant in West Virginia, just spewing out filth. And the reason why there's so many people dead from COVID-19 who are Trump supporters is that they believed him when he has told them, don't wear masks, where masks don't work. He said it during the debate. It's like Dr. Fauci. He went back and forth on the masks, you know, and Joe Biden says, you don't understand. He should have told him, you know, you don't understand science because that's how science works. We change opinions in light of new data coming in.
That's true. But he was getting in the middle of getting that. What is that? Gish galloped. He was in the middle of getting gish galloped. He couldn't kind of address all of them. Real quick, I posted a link in the chat, and it's to an article over at the New York Times. Now I know, listen, I don't know how you feel about the New York Times, but let me read this little part for you. It says, Cornell University researchers. So now let's apply that to however you feel about Cornell. Analyzing 38 million English language articles about the pandemic, found that President Trump was the largest driver of the infodemic, false information about the pandemic. President Trump.
So he's fake news personified then.
He is absolutely. And that's why whenever he came out, you know, we didn't call. I mean, there were occasions where journalists had issues and stories.
Wait. But there's better news. There's another president on Christmas Day. New York Times is reporting that RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniels tested positive.
Oh, holy shit. This is going to be huge. This is going to be huge.
Well, what if this
may be the straw that breaks Trump's back here?
Yeah. What if this ravages through the RNC? All these conservatives have been downplaying this stuff all this time. A lot of them are older. I'm telling you, I've never wished this kind of harm on a person, but Mitch McConnell, you need to be licking door handles, buddy. I'm just saying. Because there's nothing
Mitch McConnell strikes me as a more, you know, he's evil. Don't get me wrong, but he's not stupid evil.
No. But I mean, well, that's true. But I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's good to hope. It's good to hope.
Yeah, it's good to hope. You know, because I don't know, some people, you know, when I was a kid, we would open our presents from each other the night before Christmas. On Christmas Eve, we would open our presents before. And then on Christmas Day, all of them, from the family. And then on Christmas Day, we would get Santa Claus's presents. We'd go out to the tree, and under the tree would be these wonderful magical gifts. I'm still hoping for Christmas Day. This is just Christmas Eve, babies. This is just Christmas Eve. You know what? And I don't mean to be so glorious about it, but these people have brought it on themselves. They've brought it on other people, and they've been nothing but vile and hurtful. And now that they get it too, hell yes. Hell yes, I'm going to, woohoo! Hell yes. Clip that shit, people. Carry on. I'm going to sit over here and smile.
That's okay. You can sit alone and smile. So yeah,
I want to say orgasmic.
Orgasmic?
That's on Christmas Day, though.
Oh, Christmas Day. Well, you know, if things.
Sorry, immune.
Oh, the person, my friend that I'm texting with about Trump, you know, having, you know, she points out, I just hope that they didn't infect Joe, which of course is one of my thoughts too.
Yes, we were just talking about that. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully these rat lickers is what they are. These rat lickers who went to the debate. Joe Biden had no choice but to go to the debate and be in the same, not so terribly big room with all these rat lickers. All, you know, when you watch the video, go back and watch the video, you'll see like all these people over here are Trump people, or all these people over here, Biden people, and there's no masks. They don't care. You better not have gotten Joe sick. I'm going to say the most stupid thing. I'm going to say that I was about to say, hey, look, Atheist Incorporated is in the chat.
Yeah, here I am.
Well, look at that.
Who would have known that?
Who would have known that? Hey, thank you, Ian Davenport, for the $5 Australian of support to the channel with the sticker. Yeah, I know he's got a dancing thing. And see, that's the whole deal. I remember I mentioned earlier, I went through the whole deal. Am I a bad person for? And I went through it. If you're just now showing up, I asked the question, am I a bad person for celebrating Trump getting the illness if he truly
You're a
has
bad
the illness.
person for many other reasons, but not for that.
That's true. That's true. See, Wile E. Coyote. I mean, when you consider all that he's done, from my perspective, from our perspective, people on the right, you know, there's an entire social media barrage going at us and them. There's the news. They watch Fox. We watch everything else. I even watch Fox. I even check Fox News because I want to be informed. I want to know what crazy's going on. They don't. They got their little things, you know. So they don't have our perspective on this. I really, they're not nearly as villainous as we kind of make them out to be, the people on the right, because a lot of them don't really know what's going on.
Well, you know, you can have really good intent and then do really bad things. I mean, like I've said before, most people who do really bad things have the best of intent. It's these outliers that Trump, who are who don't care if they're good or bad. They're just doing what they do. But you know, most people feel like when they do horrible things that they're actually the good person and that they're the hero in their own story.
Catherine Witt, thank you for joining us this morning. She says, vote no. His staff lied to shut him up. Operation Let Him Speak worked great for the Dems.
Well, that's the Fabian strategy right there. Just hide and let him just fucking do. I mean, I'm sorry, and just let him do what he does, you know?
Yeah. Let me see. Amy Basil, I'm not sure how to say that. I hope I said that right, Miss Amy.
You're good.
Says,
Basil is fine. Basil,
thank you, Amy. Andy said, "Oh, it was okay." Oh wait, is that Amy?
That's Amy.
Oh, okay. I thought I was being facetious because I didn't know you really knew her. I was like, "Hey, strange lady, this man gave me permission to say your name."
I know people in the chat. I actually have friends, you know, Chris. I have friends.
She says, I didn't know that. All this time I didn't know that was you. Hi, lady. She says, I could believe in God if Trump died from COVID. It's a matter of timing. Yeah. I mean, that is stretching. I mean, okay, so I prayed the other day, Chulu, please let Trump have the virus. And my prayers have been answered. So
hallelujah.
Cthulhu clearly must be.
Yeah, Cthulhu. Right.
Must truly be. Or was it Joe Pesci? Who was I praying to that day?
Joe Pesci.
I don't remember. Anyway, it was one of those days. Andy has friends. Well, friends. Well, yeah, he has friends. He's mostly. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing, man. This is, again, I do have to say I become suspicious just because of the nature of how quickly and how openly and how boldly Trump came out with it. Other than that, I mean, if we'd had like, oh, wait, 2 weeks ago, she had the thing right after the thing. Of course, there's a lot, like the post said, there's a lot that's benefiting Trump. Now, Trump has get out of debate free card.
Yeah. Well, like I said yesterday, I think, or the other day, I think it would have been great for Joe Biden to skip the second debate and then just go on to the third debate. And actually, this could be beneficial for the Dems.
Could be, yeah. Cindy Plaza, good morning. Thank you for joining us, Cindy. She says, if Trump died tomorrow, most Republicans would still vote for him. I think you said that, didn't you, Andy? You said they'd wait 3 days.
Yeah. See if he rises.
To see if he rises.
I'm reading the story.
It's so much about rising, but bloviating, or like the gases within a dead body and then they pop, probably about 3 days. That's kind of like rising.
It's funny how class affects consciousness, right? About how class molds the debate. Because I'm reading through this story on CNN Politics, and it's about the White House resident staff, the people who cook, the people who clean, the people who, just everyday people who just happen to be working at the White House. And I hadn't even thought about them. But the name of the story is White House resident staff, quote, nervous after Trump's test positive for COVID-19. So it says, if you're working there just trying to make a paycheck, then I'd be nervous too if I'm like working with people who don't wear masks.
God equals square root of 1 says now they can mute the idiot in the debate. And I say the method they should do that is by turning off his ventilator.
Yeah.
And turn it back on whenever it's his turn to talk.
Well, they could just do I've been saying for a while that they should just be doing Zoom debates, to tell you the truth.
That's true. Yeah.
Because it would be easier to mute mics that way, obviously.
Yeah.
And Trump would be enraged by the idea that he would be stuck doing a Zoom debate.
And here's something else. Now, somebody did mention about putting them literally in sound boxes, and that's what I would go for if they were going to do a debate, because just because his microphone is on, Biden's microphone is off, Biden's microphone is on, and Biden is there and he can hear him. So Trump could still be over there yelling and waving his arms and all this, and Biden would still have to fight through it to say, now the people would be able to hear Biden, that's true, but he'd have this barrage coming at him. You know, I think it'd be better in sound booths.
So you're saying it would be something, I'm going to show my age here, about Get Smart, how they would have the cone of silence.
Yes.
So you're saying there should be a cone of silence when it isn't their turn to speak.
Love it. A cone of silence. And if they could put it on his neck like a dog collar thing that just kind of... Oh, I'm one of those who said during the last debate, it was, you know, I didn't really blame Chris Wallace because, I mean, it's the circumstances, you know, I mean, what power does he have? But I believe, and this is what I've said, that during the last debate, he should have said, sir, you have defaulted on this debate. You lose. Please leave the stage. Mr. Biden, thank you. You have won. And we want to talk to you and use the rest of our time to discuss your views on, and then just had Mr. Trump leave the stage. That would have been, and shamed his ass off that stage. Not that he feels
in
shame.
retrospect, from a public health standpoint, that probably would have been the best bet.
True. Probably. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I worry now you guys, man, you guys got me worried about Biden, about Senior Biden after all this
joy.
Yeah. Now, how long did Hope Hicks have it? I don't know. There's multiple questions. How long did they know she had it? And how long has she had it? They may not have found out until after the debate, but she may have had it and spread it at and before the debate.
Sure.
So I do have my concerns.
Yeah, that's probably how a lot of the people in the RNC got it. You know, I mean, once she had it, she spread it around, and then she gave it to the Trumps, and then they spread it around, and just, you know, you've seen these epidemic kind of movies about the graphs, right? About how it just spreads like wildfire.
Yeah. If you guys want to see a great movie on this kind of thing, go watch that one. What's it called? Contagion. Man, that's a great movie. It is. I mean. And they did it back in 2011, and they're talking about sending out things. We need to start social distancing and wearing masks and washing our hands. They were doing all the things that really happened. We knew to do it, even in movies back in 2011. Yeah. And yet when it really hit us, we had an entire political party telling us to ignore all the science and do the exact opposite of what should be done. There needs to be repercussions for that. I really believe.
Well, nature seems to have a way of selecting things, don't they?
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. You know, maybe God will step in and remove the problem. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's unfortunate that we have this problem at all, and that our nation has turned to this point. I think, you know, even the people who are considered the left, the ones, the touchy-feely, you know, the happy-go-lucky all left, or whatever they think of us, we're the ones over here wishing hurt on somebody because of them, because of their actions.
Catherine Witt says, does anyone think Chris Christie and Rudy are in panic mode today after their debate prep with Mr. Trump? Wow. I hadn't even thought about that.
Might be the next one to make the headline news.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not Christmas. This is Christmas Eve.
Good point.
Yeah. So that's kind of my thinking. All right, let's see. We've done about the hour. We'll go ahead and round it out. It's Friday. We've got a lot of people watching. We've hit the 40 mark. You know, we're kind of growing in our channel. Hey, folk, if you're not subscribed to the channel, click subscribe. Do the thing at the place for the people. We're the people. And subscribe and check back and watch the rest of our craziness, because we're all left-wing nutbag crazy kind of. That's just what we are. Anyway, so Andy, Super Andy, Andaholic.
Yes.
That is what do you got going on? I missed your thing with the dog lady. I would like to get back on her. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I did a great interview yesterday, if I do say so myself, with Melissa McGrath, who is a dog trainer, author, and podcaster. She has 17 years of experience training dogs. And yeah, believe it or not, I talk to people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about politics or religion. And it was a breath of fresh air for me personally. Maybe, we talked a lot about dog training, the problems with dog owners have with their animals, and the problems dogs have with their owners too. So that's on my channel, Laughing in Disbelief. I wrote what I thought was a very nice and clever article, which I referenced here earlier on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief on Pathos. And the name of the post is Trump Getting COVID-19, Karma, a Blessing or Karmic Blessing. I like it, but I am biased too. So that's what I have to plug today. Absolutely. Oh, and also, John Funk, are we doing something? Are we doing something soon?
Yeah. We are going to be doing, my cat's laying on the calendar. I can't see it, but in the very near future, like within the next day or so, we're going to be talking to a woman who survived Mormonism. She has an interesting tale, so we'll be doing that interview.
Yeah, that's on Sunday, I think, at
yes, that is right.
1:30. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. John, what else you got going on, man?
I took about a couple of months off almost from creating content, but I am back now. So I'm going to be working with Andy. We're going to be interviewing an ex-Mormon. I've got some debates set up on my YouTube channel, Atheist Incorporated. I'm going to be having Dr. John Van Wy back on my channel to discuss his book, The Darwin Experience, which is a biography on Charles Darwin. That will probably be next week. And I'm talking about Stephen King books and everything like that on my Reading Funk YouTube channel. So that's what I've got for now.
Awesome. Well, I've got some nerding to do. I lost a video card, it looks like, yesterday. I got this big old, I run this show, I do it all by myself. So I'm going to be working on the computers all weekend long, blessing it, praying over it, Jedi mind trick. Yeah.
There you go.
And seeing if I can get, because I'm down a monitor in my world. But other than that, I'm going to just kind of keep my eyes to the news, my ears to the ground, my nose to the wind, and wait to see what happens. Of course, I'm not going to be hugging anybody or licking any door handles. Mitch McConnell, though, man, if you feel like hugging folk and licking door handles, I would fully encourage that.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so everybody, thank you in the chat for joining us today. You all are all wonderful. A whole bunch of new folk for joining us. It's glad to have you. Thank you all. We will see you Monday. Thank you to all the people in the damn nation, and thank you to the people watching on Facebook and listening on the Daily Atheist Morning Show podcast. I hope you all have a safe and wonderful weekend. Stay cootie-free. Take care. Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Ian Davenport, Cindy Plaza, and tons of mice. Thank you and have a great day.